Friends, just about 15 years ago, my family and I, we immigrated to America. And just around 5 years ago, we made that move to Columbus. And if you're thinking about moving to Columbus, Ohio, stop, because there's a few things that you absolutely have to know. You see, most people think about Columbus as this Midwestern area without really that much to do, but they couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, Columbus is one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country, and there's a reason why people from Chicago, New York, and even California are coming here in hordes. But here's the real question. Is Columbus even a good place to live? What are the pros and cons? And ultimately, is it where you belong? By the end of this video, we're going to cover every single one of those topics, from real estate prices to actual hidden downsides that no one speaks about, to ultimately give one specific verdict. Should you come to Columbus or not? Roll the intro. Listen, if you've Googled best places to live in 2024 and 2025, Columbus, well, it's been there. Affordable housing costs compared to coastal cities, a booming job market with Honda, Intel, Chase investing billions of dollars, and a thriving environment with college games to enjoy, a awesome city nightlife sometimes.
Ohio has got a lot better. We are in Columbus. That is the Ohio State University.
And a thriving city crowd, from those OSU games to activities that exist and food to eat. But here's what they're not telling you. From pothole galore.
Near the end of winter, the ice, snow, and cold temperatures leaving behind an absolute mess. If you've driven just about anywhere recently, you've probably had to dodge a few potholes out there.
To property taxes that no one imagined, to some neighborhoods that are getting up there in the $1 million price ranges, living in Columbus isn't all sunshine and rainbow. And I mean that literally. We're like gloomy most of the days here. So let's break down all those things, starting with the biggest factor. Your pocketbooks. You see, this topic of affordability, it's pretty subjective, right? Our clients are reaching out to us from California, maybe even Austin, places in Seattle. Well, Columbus hits a cakewalk in price points. But those Midwestern areas, maybe Kansas, Oklahoma City, Columbus is expensive. And let me tell you, our median home costs, well, they've gone up. You see, right now it's hovering around $299 to $330 on any given day. An 8% increase from last year alone. Places like Dublin, Powell, New Albany, well, they're seeing tons of growth. And from a rental perspective, I mean, you're gonna pay anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 just for a 1 to 2 bedroom. And you know what stings is Columbus, well, it was cheap, it was affordable. You were having all this growth and people could actually be able to buy homes. But now in 2025, it just doesn't feel like that's the case. And listen, property taxes, well, it gets up there up to 2.2%. If you want something cheaper, look at Perkins or even places like Delaware County. Franklin, it gets super expensive. I'm here on my morning walk and we saw this super cool looking cat. I think that's what it's called, but I don't think I've introduced myself. My name is Gagan Timsina. I'm your local guide for everything Columbus, Ohio. Our team of real estate agents, we specialize in helping people make that move here. If you're thinking about making a move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text. We'd love the opportunity just to collaborate with you and show you what Columbus is about. You see, when most of our clients are thinking about moving here, they're usually moving here for 3 main reasons. Number 1 is family. You want to be close to the people that you love. Number 2 is retirement. You want to be somewhere cheap, beautiful, and also not too far away from home. And number 3 is for job opportunities. That's a big reason why people are coming here. From an economics perspective, let me tell you, Columbus is absolutely booming.
All tech companies investing in Ohio, but
sparked by a $200 million state investment.
You guys okay?
Yeah. Ohio's career technical education programs
We're teaching the very basics of machine.
are trying to keep up
I've always been interested in becoming an engineer.
with the building boom in Central Ohio.
Columbus is growing like crazy.
You see, Columbus isn't just a college town anymore. We've got mega fabs here that are actively being built. From the Intel project, which got pushed back to 2030 and 2031, to the Google projects and every other projects in between, we're seeing such massive growths here. If you don't know, I operate a page called the Columbus Report. We'll put it right here so you can see it. And I have a lot of really unique and different perspectives and conversations with individuals that are moving here, thinking about making that move here, or just project managers all around. And one of the biggest things that we're seeing, especially from the difference in places like Austin and even places in Miami, Tampa, and all that, is all these big computers and all these big companies, this is the location that they want to be. You know, I'm gonna put a conversation and a screenshot that I had here with a friend of mine Right here, take a read at it, pause if you need to. But this is the main thing that's happening. This is the difference between Austin and Columbus. And what we're seeing is more and more companies are actively driving traffic. And in terms of finance and other things as well, JP Morgan Chase has over 18,000 employees here. Could you potentially be one of them? If you're living in Columbus, let me know. If you're thinking about making that move to Columbus, let me know in the comments as well, because the next topics that we're gonna cover, you've never seen any other person cover this. And it's so surprising because I'm like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Let's cover that in just a second.
Hey, listen, if you like this kind of content, we send out to all of our private clients what we call the Columbus Report, where we take and digest every single thing that's happening in the market. I give you my unfiltered and unbiased opinion into everything, and you get to look at it from my perspective and a bird's eye view. If you want that, just click the link below in the description or find it on my channel somewhere and make sure you sign up. All right, back to our regularly timed program. See you soon.
And then on top of that, healthcare as well. Nationwide's Children's Hospital, Ohio Health, that just put over $1 billion to build more hospitals, an Ohio Clinic, and everything else in between. There's always a job here. And listen, for you, this means one super duper important thing, because for you, this gives you the opportunity to have other options. For you, this means diversification. And diversification, especially with employment, it is one of the most critical things in the world. Quick economics lesson from Professor Gagai. If you have more job diversification and one sector goes awry, you're not worrying. Versus you just have one sector and it's just one thing, and that sector maybe has tariffs or maybe some kind of regulations, anything that you want to talk about, well then you're in a panic. See, one of the most prominent questions that our team gets asked is, hey, where should I live? And legally, we can't tell you that answer. That's redlining and blockbusting, one of the two. But we can suggest and find specific things that you need to ultimately help you with your move. That's exactly what we did with Jen. She was actually moving here from Denver. Apparently the prices got a little too expensive there, which I get. I was living in Denver for a few months. And when we looked at all these options and we said, hey, what are you looking for? These are the specific places that came to be. One of the big things for her was schooling. On top of that, safety, things to do, and ultimately an environment that she actually feels included in. That's important. We took all these notches and figured out all the things, and let me tell you, Dublin was the place to go. We actually picked a specific place in Jerome Village, which was the absolute best location for her. And our team did a great job, from the lenders that we chose to the realtors that we're partnering with, to ultimately facilitate this move. Let me tell you another quick story. You see, we had a guy named Henry, and Henry moved a few months ago. But what Henry wanted was prestige. He was working remote, and to him, one of the biggest things, simply put, well, he had a nice budget. Ka-ching. $2 million. He said, listen, I want a place that I know a lot of people I get to network with, a lot of people that are similar in mindset, that are looking to grow, and ultimately that are looking to expand their business. Combining with this, there was one massive thing about Henry that, well, it made it kind of a no-brainer. He was a golfer. New Albany was the place to go. And on top of that, one of the big reasons why we chose New Albany for Henry, why he chose New Albany for himself, really, is the fact that he gets to network and connect with like-minded people that are pretty high up in their professions as it is, that have been in the job 10 to 15 years, successful entrepreneurs that are looking at homes between $650 to $2.3 to $5 million. If that's you, you know exactly where to be. And then finally, Marissa made that move here from SoCal, or Southern California. Her and Mike were actually looking at some options, and one of the big things for them was they liked history, but they didn't want to be too far from downtown Columbus. Can you guess where we chose? German Village.
Historical German Village in Columbus' South Side hosted its 62nd annual Haus und Garten tour, bringing in people from all over to tour the neighborhood's signature 19th century homes and the illustrious gardens.
History meeting suburban charm, meeting urban vibes, meeting proximity. It was the perfect fit for them. And all of these things, if they sound like you, you've probably got a neighborhood in mind for where you want to be. And if it doesn't sound like you and you want other options, that's great too. There's so many different options that exist here in Columbus. There's always going to be something for everyone. And I think that's a nice thing. But at the same time, there's definitely neighborhoods that are still higher up there in crime, according to all the data that we're seeing and other locations as well. Linden is, well, pretty high up there in crime rates. Hilltop is up and coming and we're seeing new developments here, but it still also has a pretty high crime rate.
Whole street was blocked off. It looked like they had the army in front of their house.
After months of investigating, the property action team secured a court order to shut down a drug house in Columbus's Hilltop neighborhood on Oral Avenue.
And Eastland, well, it's pretty affordable, but it's got some issues with safety. And also on top of this, parts of Dublin, well, there's specific pockets that aren't the best either. Soto, or the Short North Art District, where a lot of drugs and a lot of crimes happen here as well. I mean, what are you expecting? You're mingling a young crowd that has money and a nightlife. You know what I mean? So all these locations, you want to make sure that you're opening your minds and saying, this is where I want to go, or these are the things that kind of deter me from this location, because I can't tell you that answer. And I will say this, if you want a balance of both affordability and charm, but also finesse, charisma, and also a location that's not too expensive, Grandview Heights might be the place to be. You know, I don't know about you, but I love to eat. It's one of the reasons why I work out so much. I have to burn this fat off. And let me tell you, for things to eat in Columbus, we've got that in the bag. One of my favorite foods in the entire world is chapati. And you're not gonna know what that is, and that's okay. But it's Nepali ethnic cuisine that's fried rice with a bunch of condiments that's absolutely delicious. I'll put pictures and videos here so you can see it. But the other favorite food that I've got is pizza. And Columbus's pizza scene here is one of the best in the entire country, and I'm willing to debate any and everyone on that notion. From Goodfellas Pizzeria that are opening up over there in Columbus, to companies like Bird Box and Churio that are actively making this their home, there's always gonna be something to eat. And if you want some Nepali food, all you gotta do is go to Ronald's Brew, which is like 25 minutes that way, whatever way that is. Your stomach is never gonna go hungry, and I know you love to eat just as much as I do. And let me tell you this, we are fanatics when it comes to sports. OSU games, they get rowdy. We'll put videos here so you can kind of see what the crowds look like and things like that, but for the most part, we love going to those excursions because it's always fun to do, and you know it's always gonna get hyped. If you hear my voice right now, it's kind of gone, and that should kind of tell you why that's the case. But combining with this, obviously we've got college ball, we've also got the Columbus Crew, which is our soccer team, and NHL here as well. One of the coolest updates about the NHL project is, well, we were actually having an outdoor stadium that was getting built for one of the games. I don't know about you, but I grew up on sports, watching Messi and Ronaldo play. I loved watching LeBron in the Heat season, and now you got Curry, Giannis, and everything else in between. It's just a huge thing for me. It's a huge thing for my culture and my people as well. So the excursions and the ability for us to actually go watch these games and have, well, really just a fun time overall, especially with me and my dad, it's a really good session. And you know, at the same time, although Columbus may feel big, it's not, right? We're still a Midwestern city with about 1 million people holistically. The one thing is this, if you're here to party, get out of here. Seriously, I mean, we've got some party things, we've got some party scenes, maybe in downtown, maybe in Soto, that kind of area. But compared to those major locations, we're not there. And you know, at the same time, maybe a place that's similar in population size. I think Oklahoma City, I also think Kansas, we're better than them. Let's just say it like that, we're better than them. We've got some things to do here, especially if you're more of a midnight kind of crowd person, but at the same time, we don't have that many options. Sorry, remiss, I don't think there's not enough things to do at the same time. So what am I saying? Do we have party clubs or do we not? Yes, but not that many. And also, if you're interested, combine and check out 614 Nightlife in Instagram. They have all the best places that it's actually open and things to do. So let's answer the question, should you move to Columbus or not? Well, it's really gonna depend on 3 major factors. Number 1, if you want affordable housing compared to coastal cities, then Columbus is gonna be the place for you. Number 2, if you have job opportunities or you want to work in tech and you see all this tech growth, Columbus is the place for you. And number 3, if you want a city but nothing as big as New York City or as LA, Columbus is the place for you. And here's 3 major reasons why you won't like Columbus. Number 1, you don't like that college city party vibe. Columbus isn't the place for you. Number 2, you want something with less property taxes, maybe Texas or Florida. Hey, I get it, but Columbus at the same time will not be the place for you. And finally, you don't like unpredictable weather and the cold winters. I'm sorry to tell you, but the winters here, especially this year, for give it a month's time, it got pretty bad. It's gonna be 1 to 2 days where it's just absolutely horrid, where you absolutely cannot leave the house, and then it starts to get a little bit better here and there. But ultimately, here's the bottom line. I think Columbus is booming. I think Columbus is growing, and I think Columbus is going to be the next central hub for a lot of growth. It's up to you to determine if you think the same thing as me and if you're ready to make that move. And by the way, I actually did an entire video on the pros and cons of living in Columbus, every single thing that you would possibly need to know before making that move here. I'm going to put that video right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.